Good evening everyone. Let's continue with simple harmonic motion. So in the morning we were dealing with phasors, okay, and understanding how to draw circle or draw the corresponding uniform circular motion based on the equation of simple harmonic motion. Now here we will go on to one topic which is regarding the time period of a pendulum. Okay, regarding the time period of pendulum once again, but not in inertial frame. Okay, so time period of pendulum, simple pendulum. Actually, first of all, we'll talk about simple pendulum. Okay, time period of simple pendulum in non-inertial frame. Non-inertial frame, that is in a frame that is accelerating. Okay, so the easiest example of this is that suppose there is an elevator. Okay, let's say this is an elevator, and from the roof of the elevator, from the ceiling of the elevator, a pendulum is hanging, right? A simple pendulum is hanging. So let's say this length is L as usual, and this bob has a mass, right? So now if we want to find out the time period of this pendulum, if you want to find out the time period of this pendulum while this lift, while this elevator itself is accelerating, let's say upwards by an acceleration A. Did you understand? Okay, is it clear what we are going to do? We are saying that suppose this whole elevator is accelerating up, and while it is doing that, you give this oscillation, that is, this pendulum is going to oscillate. Okay, so then what will be the time period? Let's see. So we will draw the FPD of this bob just like we have done it earlier, okay, where there is no acceleration of frame and all that. Okay, so if you want, you can go back in your notes and you can see what we got. Let's say this is at an angle theta. Let's say this is at an angle theta with vertical. Okay, so there you have the tension along the string which is passing through the pivot P. Obviously pivot P is where this hangs from. Okay, and then there is mg. Okay, mg is of course downward, there is no doubt about that. Okay, and then there will be one more force because this is in an accelerating frame. This is in an accelerating frame, so there will be pseudo force, correct? Okay, pseudo force will be in which direction? Over here, pseudo force will be in which direction? Pseudo force will be in which direction? Opposite to acceleration. तो कई बाजू आवे रोहन? Opposite to acceleration means? Opposite to acceleration means? Downward. Very good. Very good. So it will be one more force here. This is the pseudo force. Okay? This is the pseudo force. So just like we did the calculations earlier, okay, just like we did the calculation earlier for a simple pendulum, if you recall, we were getting the time period as equal to 2 pi under root L by G, correct? Okay, we were getting a time period equal to 2 pi under root L by G earlier, okay, in case of inertial frame. But now what happens is that instead of mg being the force, we have additional force mn. So you know it's behaving like this. Instead of just behaving as m into g, it's behaving as m into g plus a. So that's why a similar change will reflect. Okay, so in this frame there will be a similar change because mg was the force. Now it is not just mg but mg plus a. So in this frame, by using similar idea and repeating all the steps, we get this. Is this understood? Okay? We are not going through the whole derivation, there is really no need. All the math, all the steps, they are same. Okay? Again, if this is g here with only mg over here, now we have mg plus x. So because of that, this is going to change, right? Of course, you can prove this by taking torque and all that. I'm not going into that. So this is what you get. Just like this. Think about it. If instead of this one going up, if instead of this one having acceleration upwards, suppose this would have acceleration downwards. Suppose in another case, let's say this case 1, so this is the time period that we get in that case. Suppose there is another case, case 2, where the lift is accelerating down and there is once again an oscillating pendulum. So do you realize that only change will be in the FB, correct or not? Okay or not okay? The FBD would be like this now, right? So in this case, mg and ma, if you combine it, because ma is in the opposite direction, instead of writing like this, you can write it in this manner. Did you understand this? Instead of writing ma upwards, you can write m into g minus m. Clear? Okay. So here we should get T2 equal to 2 pi under root L upon G minus A. Now see, there is no need, listen to this carefully. There is no need to remember both formulas separately. Right? There is no need to remember both the formulas separately. In fact, there is another way to just do all this in just one formula. Okay, just one thing and it works every time. So let's write it that way. Okay, I'm erasing whatever we have so far. Okay, and now I'm putting it in a general form. Alright? Okay. Alright, so the general form will be as follows, that T is equal to 2 pi under root L by, we are writing G effective here, okay, we can write G effective here, but frankly, I don't like this symbol. G effective is a little misleading, okay, but what G effective means, let me put it very clearly so that there is no confusion ever. G effective means, listen to this carefully, total of all forces except tension, total of all forces except tension divided by the mass of that bob and taken modulus. I know this might sound like such a weird thing, but this is a very good way to use just one formula for all such cases whenever you have the simple pendulum in non-inertial frame. Okay? Right? Sigma F, that is total force, except which force? Except tension. Okay? And then divided by mass and then take a modulus. Magnitude, remember, modulus or magnitude. Okay? So let's see how this works in various cases. So suppose this is once again a lift, acceleration A upwards. So if I will draw FBD of the bob, so which forces are there? Well, tension, okay, no problem. Then there is mg, alright, and then there is me, right? Just like we have done it earlier. So now if you use this relation, what we have is, you have to take all forces, okay, you have to take all forces but not tension. You have to take all forces but not tension. So mg and ma both are in same direction, isn't it? So you can add them magnitude wise and then divide by m. This is G effective. Did you understand? Yes or no? And then you put it here. Then you put this G effective over here. Clear or not? Clear or not? Okay. Just like this. Just like this. If it would be going downwards, right? Then we know that this will be in opposite direction. So here, if you want to find net force except tension, so this would be mg minus ma. Clear? It would be mg minus ma, and then you get g minus, right? But the real use of this formula, okay, if you want you can write this down. I'm going to erase it soon. The real use of this formula, everyone, is not in these two cases. They are very simple. What if something is moving sideways? Okay, then it's more useful. So let's take a question related to that. Okay, let's take a question related to that. Suppose there is an accelerating train. Okay, let's say the train is running very smoothly. Okay, let's say there is an accelerating train, and inside the train, from the ceiling, someone has suspended a simple pendulum. Okay, inside the train, from the ceiling, someone has suspended a simple pendulum. Now, if you want to find out what is the time period of this, so let's draw FB. Okay, at some angle, possible that this is, at this angle or that angle, no problem. So let's say it's here. So then there will be tension which is along the street, correct? Alright, there will be mg downwards. Okay, there will be mg downwards. And then, what about the pseudo force? Frame or the train, its acceleration is right side. So pseudo force is towards which side? Pseudo force on the bob will be towards which side? Left side, very good. Opposite to the acceleration of the frame. So pseudo force is like this. Now, come here. First of all, we will find sigma f vector except tension. So ignore this. No tension. Don't worry about it. Okay. Then if you take these two, do you realize that their resultant can be written like this? Usual stuff. Did you understand? Sigma f except tension. Clear or not clear? Very good. Now time to take magnitude, but before that we'll divide by m. So sigma f external except tension. So that is equal to minus ai caret minus g j caret. Okay, I have divided by m. I have divided by the mass. Now we will take its magnitude. So do you realize that in this case g effective becomes under root a square plus g square? Yes or no? You realize that g effective becomes under root a square plus g square. Taking magnitude of this vector. Taking the magnitude of this vector. Hopefully you all remember how to find magnitude, right? Okay. So that way we got that term. So now the final answer will be that time period of this pendulum will be t equal to 2 pi under root L by under root a square plus g square. Did you get it? Okay, instead of g effective we will put under root a square plus g square. Okay? Now, let's take another question like this, which is I think similar to what is given in the book. I don't remember the number. We can talk about it, we can see the number later. But anyways, here is the question. It's that instead of a train running on a straight line, what if there was a circular track? What if there was a circular track? Okay, and on the track there is a vehicle, let's say a car or bus or something, right, which is running like this, okay, on the circular track. Let's say speed of this vehicle is v, and that is constant. Okay, and the radius of the circle in which this is moving is r. Okay, constant speed, fixed radius, moving in a circle. What is this motion called? Constant speed and moving in a circle. What is this motion called? Uniform circular motion. Correct. So this is moving in uniform circular motion. And now from the ceiling of this, let's say you watch it from the inside. From the ceiling of that, a pendulum is hanging. Okay, and the pendulum is oscillating. Listen to this carefully. And the pendulum is oscillating in line of center. Again, what does that mean? Listen to this carefully. Try to imagine. I'll explain it over here by using this diagram. See, suppose these are the headlights. Okay, and this is going to turn like this inwards. Okay, this is going to turn like this inwards. So center will be behind the board, correct? If this vehicle is going to turn like this, do you realize that at this point the center is inside the board, okay, behind the board over there. So if this pendulum is oscillating in the line of the center, not like this, in line of center. Understood? The pendulum is oscillating in line of center. Clear? So then what will be the time period? As usual, if this is L and G is G and this mass is M. Right? So we will once again draw FB of that ball. Simple forces, one tension maybe at some angle, okay, when the situation is like this. Then there will be mg, right? Okay. And there will be any other force? Will there be any other force? What do you think? This is frame. What is the frame doing? Does the frame have acceleration? Does the frame have acceleration? Which acceleration? This is the frame. The vehicle is the frame. The frame is going around in circle. Does the frame have acceleration? Very good, Angita. Which acceleration will it have? Angular acceleration is not acceleration. Rohan. Acceleration and angular acceleration are different quantities in physics. Yes, very good. It will have centripetal acceleration. Because this is moving in circle, anything that moves in a circle must have centripetal acceleration. Correct? I'm sure you remember. So there will be centripetal acceleration towards the center. Right? There will be centripetal acceleration towards the center. So let's say we have drawn it in such a way that this is oscillating in this manner and center is over here. So do you understand that this is the acceleration of frame is towards the center, so pseudo force is away from center. Is this clear or not? This is center. Clear or not? Centripetal acceleration towards the center. Right? That is towards the left side. Again, this pendulum is oscillating like this, in line of center. Okay? And pseudo force is opposite to that. So it's a similar situation, isn't it? Like we solved it earlier, like this. Okay? So can we find time period now? What will be G effective? Just like that case, what will be G effective? What will be G effective? How to find G effective? Take the forces, accept tension, and then take magnitude, divide by mass, then take magnitude. Okay? Yes, so it will be here G effective will be once again under root a square plus g square, correct? G effective will be once again under root a square plus g square, right? But what will be a? What will be this a? What will be this a? What will be that a? Is it that tough? This a is Frame's acceleration, isn't it? The a is Frame's acceleration. Yes, Amit, correct, well done. This a is Frame's acceleration and Frame is moving in a circle. So what do you think is the value or formula of this a? What do you think is the formula of that a? V square by r. Very good. So V square by r square is V raised to 4 by r square. So if it's moving in a circle of radius capital R, then this and this. Did you understand? I have put acceleration, centripetal acceleration is V square by r. So when we square it, we'll get V raised to 4 by r square. Okay, everyone? Right? What? Okay, so now that's it for this particular topic of time period of simple pendulum in non-inertial frame. Okay, you can also use this whenever there are some other constant forces acting, not necessarily pseudo force. Okay, suppose there are some other constant forces acting, then also you can use the same idea, right? That to find G effective, you take sum of all forces except tension. Clear what I said? Even if it's inertial frame and some other constant forces are acting, then you can use the same idea. Okay? Okay, now let's go over to the next topic. Okay, so the next topic is about damping or about damped oscillations. So this topic, damped oscillation, is something that you have seen very often, which you have used very often in your life. Okay, right, that's one thing. Never. We are saying that if there is friction, then is the answer different? You mean to say about pendulum, correct? Am I right? We are talking about a pendulum. Okay, no. Then it won't be same. Reason is friction is not a constant force. Right? Friction is a force that will always change direction whenever the bob will change direction. Okay, so air resistance, friction, all these cases, all these things, we are simply including them right. In fact, what we are going to discuss now will include all that. Okay, so damped oscillations. So far, we have been talking ideal cases in nature which exhibit simple harmonic motion. Right? Okay, for example, the ideal spring, the pendulum without air resistance and all that, okay, no wind, small oscillations, everything. But now we are trying to understand, try to understand a little bit about what happens when there are forces like friction and all that. Okay? Now, oscillations, I'm sure you know what is an oscillation, right? Oscillatory motion going back and forth, back and forth. What is the meaning of damped? So damped oscillation means if due to resistive forces, amplitude and hence energy, mechanical energy of oscillation decreases continuously, then that is called, then the oscillations are said to be damped. Then oscillations are said to be damped. Okay, that is meaning of damped oscillation. Let me give you an example. Very easy. There are hundreds of examples possible. Suppose there is a ceiling, right? And from the ceiling you take a real spring. Let's say you got a spring from somewhere. Okay, maybe from suspension of bike or whatever. From anywhere you take a spring, and you would attach some block or some mass here. You can also hang yourself over there, right? No problem. Okay, and then you tap it or you push it, and you start its oscillation. So it will go up and down and oscillate. Fine. Do you realize that gradually, as time will pass, due to friction, due to air resistance, and all that, the amplitude will decrease, it will slow down, and finally it will stop. Yes or no? Yes or no, everyone? No, that will wait up for you to understand? Unbelievable. Similarly, if there is a pendulum, let's say, if there is a pendulum and you tilt it to one side, let's say you tilt it like this, and you release it. So what will happen? It will oscillate like this, go till here, then try to come back. But do you realize that gradually it will decrease in amplitude and finally it will stop at mean position? Yes or no? After making many oscillations, it will come to rest at the mean position. Okay? अरे આવું કરવું હોય તો કઈ વાર લાગે નથી. હાથમાં એક પેન લઈ લો. Okay, do it like this. This is a physical pendulum or a compound pendulum. Okay, not a simple pendulum. Okay, hold it from here and release it, not completely, but so that it can make oscillation. See, stops. Again. 1, 2, stop. Yes or no? Make sense? Gradually the amplitude will decrease. Right? Okay, so oscillations will get damped. Again, damped, that is the amplitude and energy will decrease. Clear? Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Due to resistive forces. Like, good examples of resistive forces are friction, air resistance. Okay, these are some very simple examples of resistive forces. Okay, right, so that is damped oscillation. Now here, unlike in simple harmonic motion, listen to this, unlike in simple harmonic motion, this will not keep oscillating with the same amplitude or with the same frequency. Okay, I repeat, when suppose this oscillates, its amplitude won't remain same, its frequency also won't remain the same. Okay, right? But we are only going to focus on amplitude, right? So we will draw a graph of amplitude versus time. We will draw graph of amplitude versus time. So this is A, T. Okay, we will draw graph of amplitude versus time. So first amplitude will be more, maximum, A0, initial amplitude. From there the amplitude will decrease exponentially. Exponentially, that is like the graph of e raised to. Okay, like this. And finally it would become 0. Okay, after a long time. Did you understand this? At start amplitude will be highest. Have a look at this pendulum. Okay, maximum amplitude. Gradually here, stop. Got it? Gradually the amplitude will decrease. So, how is this different from SHM? Let's have a look. If you remember, in SHM, we have drawn graphs of x versus t and all that. The graphs look like this. So, every time, in every cycle, the amplitude remains same. This will just continue like this forever. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, that is ideal behavior. That is ideal behavior. The amplitude for first oscillation A, second oscillation A, third oscillation A, fourth A, like that. But in damped oscillation, the amplitude continuously decreases with time. So, blue graph is for amplitude, okay, and the black graph. Can you see the colors separately on your screen, everyone? Can you see the colors separately on your screen? Okay, then only I am going to draw it in the same. So, if we draw a graph of x versus t, then it won't be like this. No. Instead, it would be like this. Did you understand what I have drawn? Okay. So what does this indicate? Yes, it's indicating that amplitude is changing, not like this. First time amplitude A, second time A, third time A, fourth time A. No, not like that here. First time it will be more, then after some time it will decrease, like that it will become smaller and smaller. Ultimately, the oscillations will stop. Understood? Okay, so this is what happens in damped oscillations, right? This is what happens in damped oscillations. That amplitude will decrease with time. Obviously, if amplitude will decrease with time, do you realize that the energy of oscillation, which is something like half a square, or you would say energy is proportional to a square. Do you remember this? If amplitude will decrease, energy will also decrease. Understood? If amplitude will decrease, energy will also decrease. Right? So, this is what we have about damped oscillation. Now, see, frankly speaking, this topic is much more detailed, right? And some equations are given in your book also, right? But I am not going into all that for one simple reason. All the maths that is given in your book in this topic is way above your math skills. I am making it very clear. Even math students, after clearing 12th standard, will not be able to understand how we get those equations. So there is really no point. Talking about all that. Okay. So we will simply skip over that portion. So this is just a qualitative understanding. You get what I am saying? This is just a qualitative discussion of what is damped oscillation. Okay? No maths involved, right? Equations are given in your book, but there is no need really. Okay. Fine. So that's about damped oscillation. Now, this very thing leads us to the next topic. See, suppose there is a swing. Okay, think about this, everyone. Let's say there is a swing. A child wants to swing. Okay, I'm trying my best to draw the swing. You can laugh if you want, no problem. So a child wants to swing. Let's say the child sits on the swing, and you are here. You push the swing once, only once. Let's say you push the swing only once. What do you think will happen? And then you go away. What do you think will happen? If you push it only once and go away, what do you think will happen? It will oscillate. Okay, forever, right? Until the child grows up, this swing will keep oscillating. Yes or no? It will never stop, isn't it? Okay, I thought the child would grow up on the swing, but you all punctured my hopes. Well, so you are saying that after some time it will stop. The reason is that there are resistive forces, and this is an example of damped oscillation. Fine. This is an example of damped oscillation. Correct? Very good. But you know, children can never be satisfied with the amount of time on the swing. Correct? They will always demand more. No, I want to swing for a little bit longer time. More time, more time, more time. Yes or no? So do you realize that if you want to continue the oscillations, for long time, if you want to continue the oscillations for a long time, do you realize you have to keep applying force? Do you realize that you have to keep applying force? Yes or no? ખાલી એકવાર ધક્કો મારીને ભાગી જાવ તો ચાલશે? Okay, so that's the next topic. Right, that is our next topic. Force oscillations. Okay, so now just as we start this topic, I'm going to explain the difference between forced oscillations and natural oscillation. Remember, our topic is about forced oscillation. So what are natural oscillations? What are natural oscillations? It's that suppose you take a swing or a pendulum, okay, anything which oscillates. Maybe a spring mass system also, no problem. Anything that oscillates. Okay? And let's say you drag it like this and you release it. So once it goes out of your hand, it will start oscillating. So while it is oscillating, are you applying force on it? If no, then it is called natural oscillations. Did you understand? You release it and you let it oscillate. I repeat what I have said. You drag it, you leave it. So once it starts oscillating, you are not applying force. Then in such a case, that's called what? Natural oscillations. Clear? Clear or not clear? પછી કઈ ધક્કો વગર નહીં મારવાનો. Okay, don't apply force later. Just leave it, let it oscillate. That's it. Okay. Now let's take example of forced oscillation. Okay, listen to this carefully. This you do so often with swings also. Let's say this is a swing action. Okay? And there is a child on the swing. So every time the swing comes here, right, you would push the swing? Yes or no? You would push the swing. Yes or no? Forced oscillation. Understood? This is one of the simplest examples of forced oscillation. Clear? When you apply forces, right? Now in forced oscillation, there's something very interesting possible. Very interesting. Okay. Forced oscillation are such that amplitude can be controlled. Amplitude can be controlled by not only the force that you are applying. Okay, amplitude can be controlled not only by force that you are applying, but also by frequency. Also by frequency of applied force. Okay, amplitude can be controlled by the force applied and also by frequency of applied force. Okay, Ankita is asking a question. Let me answer that first. Is natural oscillation same as damped oscillation? No. Because if there is damped oscillation, there will definitely be resistive forces. Yes or no? If there are damped oscillations, there are definitely resistive forces. Correct? Okay, so that means it is forced oscillation. Understood? That means it is forced oscillation. Whenever there is any kind of force acting, okay, except the force that makes it oscillate. For example, if you think of pendulum, there is tension and there is mg, right? Tension actually does nothing. Mg is responsible for bringing it back. Okay, and this is a conservative force, right? And it just acts between Earth and the pendulum, right? You don't have to do anything from the outside. But if there are resistive forces extra, then that would definitely make it forced oscillation. Clear? Okay? Fine. Now, this is what I am saying. You know, Ankita, you will understand this better once we discuss about this sentence as well. Amplitude of this oscillation can be controlled by the force applied and also by the frequency of the force. What do I mean? Listen to this very carefully. If every time this swing comes here, let's say this swing has time period 1 second, let's say. Okay? So here it was at t equal to 0. Suppose it starts moving from here. So after 1 second it will come back here. Yes or no? After 1 second it will come back here. Yes or no? Okay? Then once again after 2 seconds it will be here. Correct or not? At t equal to 0, at t equal to 1, at t equal to 2. So do you realize that if you apply force always at this period, that is at a period of 1 second. What do I mean? When the child comes here you push. Again when the child comes here you push. Okay, that way you continue. So do you realize that in that case the amplitude increases or starts to increase? Yes or no? Think about it. I'm sure you would have done this in your life at least once. Okay, if not, you definitely need to do it this evening. Okay? So, what you are doing is, you are also applying force at frequency of 1 Hz or time period of 1 second, because you applied force, okay, then you wait. Then once again after 1 second passes, you apply force. Then you wait for 1 second, you apply force again. So this force that you are applying, is also periodic. Do you understand what I am saying? The force you are applying is also periodic? Yes or no? What is meaning of periodic? What is meaning of periodic? Something that is repeated after some fixed time. Okay? Alright? Now, imagine, listen to this carefully. Imagine that if you would apply the same force in magnitude and in direction, but not at time period of 1 second. Suppose you would apply the same force not at time period of 1 second, but let's say at a time period of half second. Okay, let's say time period of force is half second. And you are not standing at the extreme position. Let's say you are standing little bit on the side from the mean position. Okay, now this is very interesting. Listen to this carefully and imagine also. I am saying that the swing is swinging over here. Alright, you stand a little bit on the side. Okay, and you apply force always in one fixed direction, let's say left side. Okay, so when the swing is going like this, you push it from the back. Okay, and then after half second, see, time period of oscillation of swing is 1 second. So after half second it will come back here. Do you understand that? First of all, swing will come back over here after half second. Yes or no? Because it is half oscillation. I will repeat. Suppose time period of oscillation of swing is 1 second. Time period of oscillation of swing is 1 second. Here the swing was there at mean position, you pushed it, fine. So after half second, in half second swing would go there to amplitude and come back. Yes or no? In half second, swing would go to amplitude and come back. That is from M to E dash and E dash to M. Clear? Okay, so when it comes back, the swing is coming like this, and you apply the same force now in the same direction as earlier, right? So do you realize that you are opposing the oscillation? Do you realize that you are opposing the oscillation? Yes or no? So what do you think will happen to the amplitude? What do you think will happen to the amplitude? Will the amplitude remain same? Will it decrease? What will happen? What will happen to the amplitude? What will happen to the amplitude? People, answer in the chat box. It will decrease, of course, it will decrease, right? Swing is trying to go that way with some velocity, swing is trying to go towards this side, and you push it back. So do you realize that speed will decrease? Yes or no? When you apply opposite force to the velocity that way, you apply force this way, right? So because of that it will slow down, amplitude will decrease. Clear? Okay, so earlier by applying same force, here you are standing over here and you are applying same force. Now you are standing over here and you are still applying same force. What has changed is that instead of applying force at 1 second, you are applying force at half second. Instead of applying force at 1 second, you are applying force at half second, and amplitude will decrease. So do you understand this sentence now? Amplitude will depend on not just the force that you are applying, but also the frequency with which you are applying force, right? The time period of the force. Yes or no? Okay, so keep this in mind. Alright, keep this sentence in mind, that the force that you are applying from outside, okay, if it is periodic force, then not just the force but also its frequency can change the amplitude. Alright, Okay, this sentence is of huge importance in physical system. All right, this is why you can hear sound from musical instruments. Right, this is how you can swing up to a larger amplitude when you want to swing. Okay, so a lot of things depend on this idea. All right, that's enough for today. We will continue with this the next time. All right, goodbye.